Welcome back to HRUnscripted, the podcast where we diss the corporate buzzwords and talk about what's really happening at work. And today's topic is one that sounds simple, but when it goes wrong, everything else starts to unravel. Here, you're Deepika, the friendly HR. So now we'll be talking about today communication, and not just from an HR lens, but how it plays out across departments. Because let's be honest, we all send emails, write messages, and jump into Zoom calls, but somehow people still walk away confused. Deadline gets missed, projects fall through the cracks. Sound familiar to you? So today I have invited someone from the account department who deals with a lot of moving parts and whose team absolutely relies on clear, timely communication to get things done. So please welcome my colleague Vidhi to the show. Vidhi, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Deepika. I'm really excited for today's topic because communication is a very important term which is necessary to understand. And still, after a communication, proper communication, I will say, people were like remain questioned. Okay, it is properly done or not.
Exactly. So today we are going to ease it to you that why communication important in an organization and why it's the not why it's a hot topic today, that why everybody is talking about that your communication should be effective. So now let's hear from Vidhi, as we already know that Vidhi works in accounts departments. So Vidhi will having a lot of deadlines, dependencies, data, and details. So, Vidhi, tell me from your perspective, what does good communication actually look like at work?
So yes, in account department, we have a lot of deadline, dependency for the data and other detail. And here communication is really needed to make sure that we are on a right track and everything will be done on a timely basis. So yes, it is really important for having a good communication between the teams.
Definitely, because when everybody's on your team on the same page, then only the whole process feels smoother because you guys are working with the data. That's very crucial for any organization, right? So now let's talk about real life that we have all seen the other side too, right? Where the communication breakdown, and definitely let's talk about in the accounts and how you are going to handle it. It's like one communication breakdown moment you have experienced that just made your job harder? No names because we are keeping it safe. Just experiences of you.
Okay, so basically in accounts, I used to work with the one person who used to do all the basic tasks. So our work are totally divided that I have to do a particular task and she or he have to do the work. So sometimes it happened that my colleague is doing their work and I will not keeping asking now what happened, it is done or not, because this is their task. So I'm totally dependent on that. So what happened, right, as I have a lot of tasks in my plate too, we have a deadline of a one report and the next day it was a leave. So we both are on a leave and I thought, okay, this work is already done because he or she used to do. Okay, so now on a leave day, CA team asked me, okay, Vidhi, this has happened and what we are going to do now. And I was like completely blank. Okay, because I took a few minutes to understand the process because I know how to handle those things, but when the things are not properly communicated, you are not aware of that. So it to create a blunder, and I think it's then a hard to handle this type of situation. Of course, this is a really small thing, I will say, but when such thing happen, all of a sudden it create a difficulty. Even it create a difficulty in the team's understanding also, because a thought will come in my mind. Okay, I can't depend on that person. I have to take care of each and everything on my own. So this happens and this is a really hard thing if the communication is not done properly.
I think what you highlighted is because of the communication gap. You were thinking that
Yes.
that person will do, and you are thinking like that person is thinking that Vidhi has might done it. So I think just a one message that have you did it, or just a single drop of a ping that can stop all to happening all of these situations. And I feel that half of the time it's not even intentional, right? Because
Yes, correct.
it's just that no one took the time to clarify things, or no one just took a time to write in a message, Vidhi, I'm going on a leave. Is it done? Or even you didn't. take that,
Yes,
you didn't written that message. Okay, so now as we see that this type of a small blunder that can happen when you don't communicate. So Vidhi, tell me that how important is communication between departments like HR, operation, finance, from your point of view, and what happens when it breaks down?
so, internal communication in between team is really important for a smooth work. Let's take an example. There is a vendor payment which I have to make on payment, and operation team is in a proper communication with the vendor. So I made the payment of that invoice and didn't inform anybody. Okay, and vendor missed it to update in their ledger, and now the vendor is calling again and again to the operation team. Okay, the payment is not done, and I'm not answering the operations team's phone or messages because of any urgency. Now, what will happen? Everyone will be like wonder, okay, this is not done when the things is already done, right? Payment is already done by me. Just because I am not communicating it to anybody, they just feel okay, this is not done. So this type of thing will happen or can be happen in the team, in within the team, if a single message or a proper communication was not done. So I think proper communication in between the department is really important.
Yeah, definitely, because we both have to be on same page when you are working on the on projects, right? All of
Right.
the stakeholders that are involved into the project. Definitely, that's your daily job to do the vendor payments and all those things. But I think should be one process where you are communicating about all the payments has been done, and I think that's how we see that miscommunication can have a domino effect. You miss one key update and suddenly everyone's playing catch up, right? Oh, you didn't do it. Oh, where when you have made the payment, what's the transaction ID, and all of those stuff that you have to do, right? So now, okay, so now let's move ahead, and we talked about that how the communication between the departments and what happens when it's breakdown, and how it really impact the team. But now tell me that in a communication, that how important is tone when you are writing a written communication for your team? Like, does it affect how you interrupt urgency or intent?
Yes, the tone in a written communication is very difficult to understand sometimes. So, it is really important when are you writing any message or any mail to any team member or any person, it should be communicate your proper answer or your proper way or meaning which you want to like clarify to that person. But sometimes still had that happen that we I'm not in that intention, but let's say if I said that Deepika, just do this now, you will think, okay, how rude Vidhi is. Always she want everything in an urgent way, right? But if I say, okay, Deepika, can you do this task in a 1 hour? Because I need to submit this report to the like any other department. So in this way, just put by a please or a kindly in your return communication, you understand. And I just try to communicate you, okay, this is important and I need it in 1 hour. So just written communication is just like this, but like if you're not properly communicating what is your need, the person have their own mindset. Now they will understand whatever they want to. So written communication can interpret it a different meaning if not communicated in a proper way.
And we have so a lot of examples there,
Yes,
practical example that we do have happen in our organization. So my intention is different, and you're perceiving it with a different intention, right?
correct.
You assume things like you said that, Deepika, can you do the task? I might have think that Vidhi might have urgency, but what I'll think, no, she always come at the last moment, and she is now becoming rude to me, right? So for this, I had a discussion with Bea where she really pinpointed this point, that where she talked about that how somebody assume the rudeness in the communication, right? Or that happens mostly with when you're talking in the written communication, because there we are not seeing you, we are not having the one-to-one conversation, we are just relying that what's your writing, we and what we catch according to our mood. What's our mood? If we are in a jolly mood, we will take it in a light way. But if we are not in a good mood, we take, why she always bother me at the last moment? She is very rude, that how she can tell me that I need it in 1 hour. How does it possible? So there are a lot of assumption that I one can make about the communication.